Hey, hello everybody, welcome. On today's video I want to show you guys my blasphemous Fate build. Now this build is a total boss killer, is more about like 1 to 2 hits. This is one of my best Fate builds so far that I've made, and it totally wrecks. With this build we're going to be using Incantations to take out enemies small, and also we have the power of the Taker's Flame to destroy huge enemies or bosses in 1 to 2 hits. Alright, so before I show you guys the build, let me show you guys the stats real quick. So, on the stats right now, right, we have 862 for the blasphemous sword. Now, that's before the buffs, right? So, if I start the buffs, let's go for the Golden Vow first. And then we can do Flame Grant Me Strength. And also even the mix of Wondrous Physick. Now you want to always have two-handed on this weapon, and we check the stats. We have now 1310 power attack on this blade, and that's before other stuff that we have in the build that's going to be giving us more power as we are attacking. So let's go over this. So the main weapon of choice in here obviously is going to be the Blasphemous Blade. This is a great sword that you can acquire by defeating one of the main bosses at the Volcano Manor. So just do that and you will obtain this blade, the great sword. Now mine is on +9 and I'm doing that insane amount of damage. Imagine if I had this on +10, which that Fate scaling will go from C to a B, I believe, right? So with that said, that's gonna be even more damage and better scaling for this weapon. So just keep that in mind. Now this weapon has, I would call it 2 unique skills. The first skill that it says right there that you can see in the screen, it says unique skill, Taker's Flame. So by using your L2 attack or LT attack, right, you will just send out a flame on a vertical going forward, and whatever is on the way, it's gonna hit hard and it's probably gonna die. Now the second skill that I still call it a unique skill is the fact that this weapon will restore your HP upon defeating enemies. But it gets even better. Now if you just have this weapon on you and holding it, even when I'm using Incantations, I'm still getting that HP back because it still works. You're still gonna get that HP restoration. Moving on from there, we're gonna use the Sacred Seal Archery Seal. I have mine on +9, and this one will scale very good once you have it on +9 because the Fate scaling will be on S tier, right? Now moving for the armor, I am using Blade's armor, and I do recommend on this build going with a heavy armor, and I will explain in a minute. But this one that I have is going to be the Blade's armor, and it's a pretty decent armor, and besides that it also looks really cool, right? So I have this set up because one, as I said, I want to have a heavy armor so I can get a good amount of defense of damage negation, and not only that, I also want to have at least 50 poise. So from there, moving on for the talismans. So this is going to be the talismans that I have. So we're going to use the Fire Scorpion Charm, the Radagon Sword Seal, the Prosperous Wear Heirloom, and also the Shard of Alexander. Now the Fire Scorpion, it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. The Scorpion Charm will raise fire attack, but it will lower the damage negation, and that's why once again we have a heavy armor. Now for the full damage, right, the best option as of right now that I found is gonna be by using Radagon Sword Seal, which is gonna be the trade-off that you have to take more damage from the enemies. Now by using it, you gain 5 attributes to endurance, strength, dexterity, vigor, you get some more HP and also some stamina and equip loads. You gain a lot for this talisman. So it is a trade-off of taking damage, but you gain a lot of it for it. So the third talisman, we have the wearer heirloom. This one will raise our dexterity. Now in here you might think the strength might be the best option, but no. So right now we have our strength with the Radagon sword seal. If you count that, we have our strength on 55 and we have the fate on 50. Now let's see if I change to strength. You see, I have now, if I put it on strength, right, I have 60 and 35 dexterity. My damage will be 855 with strength. If I go for dexterity, my damage will be 862. So if you guys don't know, on Elden Ring there is soft caps on this game for attributes. So once you hit 55 on strength, after that you're not gonna get a lot for your points. So if you hit like 55, I would say just start putting stuff in the next attribute in the list to make that weapon stronger, which in this case we have fate, we have strength. Now we're gonna go for dexterity. We have only 40. I mean, after we equip this, we're gonna have 40, but before that we only have 35, right? And same thing goes for fate also. So we check the damage right here. If I put the fate heirloom, that's gonna drop our damage to 856 instead of having that 862. So just keep that in mind. Now in the last talisman, we have the chart of Alexander. This will greatly boost the attack of power of skills. So that power armament that I showed you in the beginning, right, that's before we activate this, because this is gonna go with the attack, right? So once we attack, we're gonna see this talisman activating and giving us a boost on our attack. So now moving on for the spells that we're gonna be using on this build, because this is a very important part of this build. I do use the spells a lot, not only to buff the build but also just to fight along when I am in the open world. So the first one is going to be the Flame Grant Me Strength. This one will raise physical and fire affinity attack power. We have the Golden Vow, increase attack and defense for self and allies, and this will go for 90 seconds. This is what's the best of about Golden Vow. The next one, I have the Lightning Spear in here. I do like this incantation. It uses only 18 FP and you can cast it quite fast. So, and then we have also the Ancient Dragon Lightning Strike. This is not necessary, I don't use it a lot. And then my favorite actually is going to be the Black Flame. This one will cost also only 18 FP, and what's cool about the Black Flame is once you throw it at an enemy, not only has that first damage when you hit the enemy, it stays burning the enemy for a couple seconds, and the bigger the health pool of the enemy, the more damage over time will be. So it is a very good incantation that I didn't know, and it works really well. I am enjoying this Black Flame incantation a lot. Now last but not least, for the Wondrous Physick mix, I have the Dexterity Knock and also the Flame Shrouding Crack Tier. This one will boost my dexterity and my fire attacks. Now last but not least, let's go over the stats, right? So this is gonna be the attribute points that we want to have on the build. Now just keep in mind we have to subtract 5 points because of the Radical Sword Seal. As a fact, I think let's take it off for a minute, right? Let's go over without having it. This is gonna be how you have set up your attribute points. So on Vigor I go with 40 because I think that's a good amount, plus that's one of the soft cap. And then Mind I have 27, but I was debating on putting this on 30, that way I can have one more swing out of that Taker's Flame from the sword. As long as you have 25 and up, you should be fine. Endurance I only have 25 because I wanted to get this armor equipped, so that's just enough to allow me to equip the Blade's armor and have 51 poise. On strength we have 50, and I do not recommend going over that. Once you go over that for this specific blade, the Blasphemous, you're not gonna take that much of advantage when you go over 50, right? 55 is gonna be the best spot, and we're gonna get that from the Radical Sword Seal, so just keep that in mind. On dexterity we want to have that high, but that's the least important part of the 3 attributes for this sword, right? First you want fate, second you want strength, and then the third you want dexterity. That's why I have 35 in there. Intelligence, we don't need anything in there. Fate obviously is a very important part of this build. We have 50 in there. Also there's a soft cap, and going over 50 you're not gonna see much increase for the blasphemous blade. And arcane, we don't need anything. So yeah guys, that's it. That's the build that I have for you guys. One of my favorites builds for Fate build. It hits so much strong though. I was so impressed on how this thing can just destroy bosses on 1 to 2 hits. So it is a very fun build to use, to see the boss health just disappear. So if you want to give it a try, this is the build that you can use right now. And yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think of this build. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed, hit me with a like, I would appreciate. I have plenty of more builds coming up in the channel. I'm having so much fun playing different ways on this game. I cannot wait to show you guys all of the different builds. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys want to see next, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.